the railway movements were not affected adversely by the strike, which was led by George Fernandez at that point of time. Similarly, in Assam, the army took charge of the oil extraction when the Oil India was in trouble because of the Assam agitation. Then you also know that at whenever there is an emergency, it is the defense forces which steps in, including during Corona. The army doctors, they opened up, makeshift medical hospitals, and then they treated the people. So the defense forces are the insurance of the nation. They can do anything for the nation, and it is, I always say, it is the faith of the nation. Since it is a faith of the nation, it is the responsibility and duty of every Indian to contribute in whatever way they can in the strength, in the growth of the defense-related industry and strengthening the defense ecosystem, including strengthening the forces by joining them. But today, I'll only focus on the opportunities which is there in defense manufacturing. And when I say defense manufacturing, it is I'll focus on this Army, Navy, and Air Force. So, being from the Army, whenever I use the word Army, please, I mean, you should understand that I'm meaning Army, Navy, and Air Force, the tri-services, right? Now, as of today, in the world, there are about more than 30 odd places where the conflicts are taking place. Very recently, the Russia-Ukraine, Iran and then Israel conflict, then the very recently Venezuela and US conflict. There are conflicts everywhere existing, including India is surrounded by adversaries in the northern, eastern, and western border. China, Pakistan, and now the Bangladesh, they become trouble spots for us. So we need to spend more money in the defense manufacturing. Secondly, very recently, the Chief of Army Staff, he said, we cannot fight tomorrow's war with yesterday's equipment. That means the technology of yesterday is no more relevant for the war which is going to take place tomorrow. So the military is highly technology intensive, and it requires to be upgraded periodically. Like you have seen in Operation Sindoor. So it was a different type of a warfare where the technology played a very key and important role. That is why after Operation Sindoor, government has taken initiative for emergency procurement of different military equipments. Also, the government has understood, and we also must understand, that we cannot fight a war with borrowed technologies or borrowed equipments from the countries. Like during Kargil operation, what happened? We were depending on the GPS of which is under the control of the US defense. The Americans, they degraded the signals which was coming to India and upgraded the signals of Pakistan. That is why we learned a lesson that we must have our own GPS system, which is called the Global Navigational Satellite System. And in the recent war with Pakistan, we realized that our air defense system has to be upgraded. And we have to focus more on technologies like the drones of different types, combat drones, logistic drones, surveillance drones, anti-drones. So that is the entire ecosystem. Now, as I say, let us see the global scenario. The global military expenditure has reached 2.7 trillion in 2024. Now it must have gone much beyond that because now we have reached 2026, according to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. So I'm just quoting whatever is available in the public domain. The figure could be tentative. Then the 9.4% increase from 2023 was the steepest annual rise since the Cold War. So the situation after Cold War has changed. The top military Spenders in 2024 were the US, $997 billion, China $314 billion, Russia $149 billion, Germany $88.5 billion, and India is only $86.1 billion. And look at our adversary China. They are spending almost 5 times more than what we are spending. And China is our major adversary. So we need to increase our spending on military in India. So military expenditures was greatly affected by Russia-Ukraine conflict. Now, you look at the share of the world military expenditure of the 15 countries with the highest spending in 2024. It is not surprising that the United States has the highest spending on military, 37%. And look at their population and look at our population. Look at their adversaries and look at our adversaries. We have got much difficult adversaries than the United States. And whereas India's is only 3.2%. Even if you look at the whole figure, the smaller countries are spending much more. China 12%. So I'll always compare ourselves with our neighbors, China and Pakistan. Pakistan figures are not available. But whenever I say China, so we know that China spends a lot of money on Pakistan. So US and China, they account 50% of the world military spending in Asia. And India's military spending was the fifth highest in the world in 2024. It is just only a number. But when you look at these things in terms of its effectiveness, it is much less. Because whatever we are spending, we are mostly spending this money on buying the foreign equipments. All our ships, aircrafts, heavy guns, they're all imported. So they're not indigenously manufactured, most of them. Our indigenous manufacturing capability is very limited. So let us look at the Indian defense manufacturing ecosystem and what are the scope and expenses. The defense budget of 2023 and 24 is 72 billion, of which $21 billion it goes for the modernization of budget. So there is in India we have got a defense procurement procedure. We have got capital procurement. We have got revenue spend budget, capital budget and revenue budget. Capital budget is spent on procurement of heavy equipment, and revenue is for maintenance and other things that you also know. Then we have got 16 defense public sector units. They manufacture tanks just like your Calcutta, the Garden Rich workshop, or your HAL or your BEL. These are the defense PSUs. So they manufacture tanks, warships, aircrafts, ammunition, etc., and employing around 2 lakh people in over 70 factories all over the country. In fact, recently even the ordnance factories also have become PSUs. And there are 52 DRDO laboratories where their investment on R&D is increasing, and the defense R&D will be opened up for industry, startups, and academia with 25% of the defense R&D budget earmark. That is what is it is envisaged, because the DRDO himself cannot meet the challenges which is being faced by the Army, Navy, and Air Force. So the academia and startups, industry, and other research institutions, they are also part of the research activity. Then the defense sector opened to private participation only in 2001. Since then, several private sector companies, including 12,000 MSMEs, actively involved in this sector. Here, I would also like to mention that there is a special purpose vehicle called IDEX, Innovation of Defense Excellence, which is an interface between the uh, you know startups, MSMEs, and the armed forces. So it's a that kind of a thing. And then there are called Army Design Bureau and similar things in the Navy and Air Force, which are also in interface between the industry and the armed forces. Value of defense production in 2022-23 is a rise of more than 12% over the figure 2021-22. But if you look at the situation in 2026 and 27, it will be much higher because our security challenges has increased manifold because of the recent developments in Pakistan, China, and Bangladesh, and then we recently fought a war with Pakistan, which is still going on in the technically in the sense that the Operation Sindur is not yet closed. So anytime it can escalate. And then 200% increase number of defense industrial licenses granted in the last 7 to 8 years. Defense exports reached an all-time high of $2 billion in 2022-23 and tenfold jumped in 6 years. The recent increase in FDI limit to 70%, 74% via automatic route and delicensing of defense items are expected to attract more foreign investment. I mean, this just to you know make a point. I would like to tell that the our spending on defense is going to increase. Our focus on self-reliance is increased. Our focus on indigenous research and development, indigenous manufacturing, supporting the startups and MSME ecosystems who are dedicated for the defense industry are on priority as far as the government is concerned. And also, the Indian companies are exporting our military hardware and gadgets, and these are exported to the friendly countries. We don't sell it to our enemies or adversaries. So friendly countries like Armenia, Philippines, Malaysia, some many nations we have been exporting, and that also gives us an opportunity. Suppose if you have got a manufacturing unit, so not only will be supplying to our Indian armed forces, we'll also be selling it in the international market. And this is also growing. Only in 2021-22, the figures you can see the uh, valuation, and India's defense exports has raised 23 times, and it is surging from 686 crores in financial year 13-14 to nearly 16,000 crores in financial year 22-23. So there is a 23-fold increase, which is quite remarkable. And the expenditure on defense procurement from foreign sources has reduced from 46% of overall expenditure in 2018-19 to 36.17. So gradually, the import of foreign military equipments are reducing, and our own capabilities increasing. Now, I just saw a huge advertisement in the front page of Times of India only 3-4 days back, which was published by or given by the government of Odisha. And I was very happy to see that Odisha government has identified some industrial clusters. And the industrial clusters are located in Rourkela, Jharsuguda, Paradip, and things like that, which is along our major national highways and industrial belts. And they've identified many products for which they're focusing. But I was disappointed only one thing. They have not identified a single product which is required for the defense. And neither they have focused on the military requirements. After discussing so much of money is being pumped into Indian market for buying Indian military equipment. So we must take this opportunity. So we must create within the industrial cluster of Odisha defense corridors. And how we can do that is what I'm going to discuss. Now we have got some policies. We have got the Odisha Civil Aviation Policy 2022. Then we have got the Government of India Defense Acquisition Procedure, Defense Procurement Procedure 2025. Now, I have already discussed about IDEX and TDF Technology Development Fund under the MOD, and then Buy Global and to manufacture in India, enhance indigenous contents across all categories, and enhance FDI limits of 74% through automatic route in defense sector. Separate budget for domestic acquisition of 72,000 crores. So defense Defense Production and Export Promotion Policy of 2020. That also is a positive step towards encouraging Indian manufacturing industry in the defense sector. Now you see, the government of India policies are coming up. Odisha government also has their own policy. They also, it's not that they don't want the industry to come up, but probably they have not understood the how big is the opportunity in the defense sector for Odisha entrepreneurs. And when I say defense industry, that will help in the economic growth of Odisha, employment opportunities for the young Odia boys, and also our visibility in the national manufacturing sector. Now, the government of India plans to spend approximately $250 billion over the next decade for the modernization of its defense forces. All capability acquisition projects are undertaken under the provision of earlier DPP. Now, the new DPP has already come, Defense Procurement Procedure. And foreign OEMs, that is original equipment manufacturers, can participate in projects under these policies. And these are the ways they can participate: technology, product, components, parts, raw materials, technology collaborator to Indian industry, joint ventures with the Indian companies, and own subsidiaries. So there is an advantage in India. There is a growing demand. Demand growth is likely to accelerate with rising concerns of national security. Then competitive advantage. India has the world's fourth largest defense expenditure as of today, and expects to export equipment worth 15 billion by 2026. And the government of India has opened the defense industry for private sector participation to provide impetus to indigenous manufacturing. Then, as per the Union Budget of 2022-23, 25% of the defense R&D budget has been earmarked for private industry and startups, which will pave the way for innovation of new defense technologies in India. Then, how the government is supporting. There are a lot of policies which is coming up. And I must admit, no policy is a perfect one. There will be always some shortcomings, but we need not bother about that. We should take advantage of the positive things of the policy, and wherever there are obstructions or roadblocks, we can always approach the government to remove those roadblocks or to help us out. With government initiative, the expenditure on defense procurement from foreign sources, which used to be 46%, has reduced to 36%. And under the Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative, 4 positive indigenous list of 411 products have been promulgated by Department of Military Affairs to be manufactured domestically for the defense sector. So they have identified what are the products which is required to be manufactured in India only. There is a portal called Srijan, which is launched to promote indigenization of 19,000 odd defense items. So that is displayed on the portal. So the government has established 2 defense industrial corridors. This is what I would like to give importance. This is where is my focus. Already there are 2 defense industrial corridors. That is, one is in Uttar Pradesh, the other one is Tamil Nadu. And India has got around 194 defense technology startups building innovative technology solutions to empower and support the country's defense efforts. So here I would like to include Odisha as the third state to have a defense industrial corridor. We have already got all those resources. I need not have to tell you, Odisha is surplus with water, well connected by sea. We have got ports, we have got airports, so many airports at Bhubaneswar, Jharsuguda, Rourkela. Then we have got so many top technological institutions. So everything is there. We have got some policy, only we just need to modify to include that, and we need the will to ensure that Odisha also gets an industrial corridor for the defense. Now, these photographs will show you the some of the opportunities where the Odisha industry can work: missiles, advanced simulators, unmanned systems. So when I say unmanned systems, it's the entire ecosystem: robotics, unmanned systems, which is flying, which is underwater, which is also on ground. Then anti-drone systems, counter-drone systems, electronic, because the biggest challenge is to fight in an electronic warfare contested environment, or electronic EW in contested environment. So electronics related gadgets are much in demand, which can um, counter the enemy interference. Then cyber security, that is another area. Cyberspace, fighting in the cyberspace, because Venezuela uh, invasion, or whatever, that operation of US has taught us another lesson, that cyberspace is very key. America ensured that the by spoofing and by jamming the cyber, through cyber attacks, the Venezuelan air defense system, they could enter into their airspace and could pick up the president without having any casualty from their side. Radars and surveillances, protective gears, armored vehicles, small arms and ammunition. So there are endless products. I can tell you, there are millions of products, small and big. When I say an ecosystem, let us say it's an aircraft. Aircraft has got so many components. So civil aviation and the military aviation, you can get integrated there. And civil, the same products can go into the civil market also, because these are all for dual use. There are many such equipments which is for dual use. Okay. Then the major programs from the Indian side is your light tank, next generation uh, uh, ICV, autonomous aerial and land platform surveillance, AI enabled, AI and ML. Every product, whatever we develop, it should be AI enabled, because that that is what is changing the or creating the cutting edge technology, cutting edge advantage to the military hardware. Then fighter aircrafts, medium transport, refueler, multi-utility helicopters, unmanned aerial systems, then AIP-based conventional submarines, futuristic missile corvettes, next generation NPV, carrier-based fighter aircraft, naval. The list is endless. So for Army, Navy, and Air Force, the list is endless. So what I wanted to really emphasize was that when I talk about defense corridor, it is just not manufacturing one or two products. There are thousands of products which is required for our Army, Navy, and Air Force, which can be manufactured in India easily, and that will be a win-win situation for everybody. For the people who are investing, for the people of Odisha, because that will give them the job opportunity. It will be helping them in skilling their abilities. Then it will help strengthening our national security. So now I come to this point of defense corridor. I've already told you that Uttar Pradesh and Tamil Nadu has got defense corridors. And in fact, I have personally interacted with the UP defense corridor. There is a major general who was my colleague who is heading that, and there is a colonel who served with me and who takes care of that. And they are so fast. If you want to establish an industry, within a day, your land is also given to you. Everything is online. There is no bureaucratic red tapeism in that. And I'm told the Tamil Nadu is still better than the UP. I was impressed with the UP, but I was told that Tamil Nadu is still better than UP. Then I thought, why not Odisha also have got similar kind of a thing? And under the Make in India scheme, the Indian government has been encouraging the growth of domestic manufacturing with the aim towards self-reliance by promoting Atmanirbhar Bharat. The government has established two defense corridors in the country. One is UP Defense Industrial Corridor, the other one is Tamil Nadu Industrial Corridor, with the aim of investing 10,000 crores each in each corridor. These are only estimate. It could be much higher. The nodes have been selected based on high potential for creation of end-to-end ecosystem for aerospace and defense sector development, covering design, engineering, and manufacturing. I will tell you one advantage. Odisha is very close to Kolkata, which is the headquarters of Eastern Command. It is very close to Visakhapatnam, which is the headquarters of the Navy's Eastern Command. It is very close to Shillong, which is the headquarters of the Air Force Eastern Command. Then in Odisha, we have got the Army Air Defense College. We have got the DRDO's ITR and PXC, Proof Experimental Establishment. Then we have got one Adness Work Factory at Bangalore. We have got a HL factory at Sunabeda. And then there are so many. Then we have got the INS Shilka. Okay, so we have got so many things, and the entire and then the eastern sector is a very troublesome sector, as you know, because the Bangladesh is a trouble spot, Myanmar is a trouble spot, and then the China border is also very close from that side. The Sikkim side, that sector, Arunachal Pradesh sector is also very close, and Odisha is a very safe distance. Anything which is there, uh, we can the enemy cannot reach Odisha so comfortably. It will be very difficult to for them. And then we are also very close to Andaman and Nicobar, which is a very strategically very important. So I may not elaborate how important the Odisha location geographically from military strategic point of view. We need to project this thing before our politicians, bureaucrats. They must understand that I'm just not saying for the sake of okay, Odisha should have some industry. But you have to look at the overall, holistically, the picture. How much the Odisha will be benefited. Now in UP, there are 6 nodes within the defense corridor. There were 6 nodes, namely Aligarh, Agra, Chitrakoot, Jhansi, Kanpur, Lucknow, have been identified as UP Defense Industrial Corridor. And in fact, I'm sad my company, IG Defense, could not get land in Odisha. Now the UP Industrial Corridor has offered us land in Jhansi, and we have happily taken it. And my company is all promoted by Odia entrepreneurs. It is very sad state of affair. When Odisha has got so much of land, so much of resources, why can't we offer this opportunity to Odia entrepreneurs? Similarly, in Tamil Nadu, Chennai, Coimbatore, Hosur, Salim, Tiruchirappalli have been identified as the for Tamil Nadu Defense Industrial Corridor. So the nodal agency for UP Industrial Corridors is UP IDA, UP Expressway Industrial Development Authority. Similarly, so they have got created a special purpose vehicle, and they're encouraging and they're giving subsidies. As I said, you don't have to run around after them. Everything is online, and you file, and everything is given. And further, the basic infrastructure support, such as the internal roads, drainage systems, water, electricity supply, are also provided by the state government. They're giving subsidy. They're encouraging like anything. This is what I would like to emphasize. So now my vision for Odisha Industrial Corridor is for the defense. Odisha Defense Industrial Corridor is I envisaged as one of the flagship projects of the government of Odisha that intends to reduce foreign dependency of Indian aerospace and defense sector. Government of Odisha will make a nodal agency to execute this project in conjunction with various other state agencies, just like UP and Tamil Nadu. The mission should aim to bring up the state as one of the largest and most advanced aerospace and defense manufacturing hubs and put it on the world map. The aerospace and defense sector in India is rapidly growing and becoming indigenous uh, with ODIC playing a vital role in this. These are all my vision. It can be always, it is subject to improvement. So these nodes proposed are in the districts of Bhubaneswar, Khurda, Baleshwar, Jharsuguda, Sunabada, Balangir, Koraput, Berhampur, Paradip of Odisha, where land banks are proposed to be created by the state. In fact, I was very happy to see that this Odisha government's industrial uh, hubs, what they want to create, is falling in the same area only. Only thing is that within that, they have to earmark special corridors for the defense industries or industries which are manufacturing for the defense sector. Because these nodes are chosen due to the proximity of various state and national highways, as well as supported by a network of expressways, ports, and airports existing and under construction. Now, some of the defense PSUs and defense establishments are we have already discussed. We have got the HAL, we have got the DRDO presence there, and we have got the um, ordnance factory of Bangalore, Balangir, that is called that is part of the Munitions India Limited, which has become a defense PSU after the corporatization of Ordnance Factory Board. So its role is manufacture of high and medium caliber ammunitions. I've also worked out some. These are my envisaged. How much is the investment, employment, and land acquisition in Odisha? The total investment will be to the tune of 20,000 crores. That is what I have envisaged. In which 45% for mega units, these much bigger units like for bigger military platforms, and 30% for major units, and for 25% for major units and 30% for MSC. These are all my calculation, and this can generate employment to the tune of 50,000 in the all these three sectors, and then the land required will be around 2,000 hectares. That is what is my estimate, and it's all subject to creation. But it gives an idea that yes, how much is requirement. Then when I say this is the defense ecosystem, initially I said defense forces or the defense institution, army, navy, and air force, they are a country within a country. So the domains are space, aircraft, electronics, precision manufacturing, arms and ammunitions, propellants, advanced textiles in defense, because we need tents and other things, in high altitude and other drones, anti-drones, missiles, land systems, MROs, AI-based platforms. You're particularly the software industry focusing on the military requirement is a very big requirement. The Bhubaneswar, that corridor can be used for exclusive IT companies focusing on the defense. Then defense testing of all these equipments, R&D, skill development and training. We have got the NIT Rourkela, IITs. We have got the other good technical institutions like. Then we have got many diploma colleges, ITIs. So when I say, I'm not talking about only the top institutions. I'm talking about skilling the people. And these are some of the major projects which is upcoming in Odisha: Vedanta Aluminium expansion, Jindal Steel projects, Nilachal Ispat Nigam Limited, semiconductor manufacturing units. This is what I picked up. New industrial parks are coming up, plastic parks under. All this gets will be part of that ecosystem. I don't say that these are not be part of that. It's an and when I talk about the Odisha industry ecosystem, the defense industry gets totally they're interoperable with each other. They get integrated with each other. So they complement and supplement each other's requirement. Now, what happens in Odisha if you require a small thing? Let us say I got a defense manufacturing unit. I need something, then I have to come to Delhi or Bombay. That should not happen. Everything should be locally available. So we need to create that kind of an ecosystem. Then these are the major projects. We have got infrastructure projects. Ports are expanding the project. Gopalpur, Paradip is already there. They're expanding. We have got sea building hub, which is coming up in Paradip. That is what I read. The Odisha rail connectivity is very well connected now in Odisha. The roads are very good now. And we have got even the state capital, Bhubaneswar, there it has developed. It has got so many good roads, good infrastructure. Then we've got the energy projects. Odisha has got surplus in electricity because of the thermal power plants at what is that place, Anugul belt, and then Talcher Anugul belt, and hydroelectric plants at Hirakud and in Koraput, the Kalahandi, in Indravati project that side. Then we have got enough And we have got coal field, we have got everything. Then, so we need to come out a special, you know, we have to bring in the good policy document, which will be inclusive for everybody. Everybody, whosoever wants to get involved in the Odisha industrial corridor, those who are investing money, those who are looking for an employment opportunity, for politicians, for local developments, everything policy, we need to come out with that for Odisha industrial development, Odisha defense corridor policy, something like that. It has to come. Name is not important, and that will help attracting investment, elevate Odisha is the most preferred destination for investment, budget, market gap. It will improve the existing infrastructure of Odisha. Odisha will be one of the most industrialized states in the nation country. It will promote the development and innovation, incubation of technology. Then the top technological institutions, their talents can be utilized, better utilized here. The teachers, the students, they can get the facility to take research activities there. Then so many things we can do. So will include materials, equipment, component, assembling units, sub-assembly units and components for transportation. You see the sector, the logistic vehicles. So it's a win-win situation for everybody. So I'm not going into these things, and now my focus will be so that we would like to. These are because they are all my imagination. So I could imagine much better also. Uh, Something I drafted. I've been deliberating with this. Uh, but the global and Indian OEMs fall in this category as tabulated. Somebody invests say 2,000 crores, just like in UP. This all ideas I've got from the UP industrial corridor. So depending on how much incentive will be given, if you're investing on 200 crores, how much land will be given? If you're giving employment to 1,000 people, So depending on the type of investment, the investors and the industry people, they'll get some incentive. So that comes in the policy document. Then uh, we can also think about waiver of some taxes or tax benefit for a certain period of time till they stabilize. So those are the things which has to be taken into account. These are some of those things. Capital subsidy. Then I've written some ideas. You know, uh, this is not the time to discuss all the things. Idea is to ignite your minds that yes, Odisha needs a good policy document and initiative towards establishing a defense industrial corridor. These are all rough games. Now let me see. Rebate on transportation charges, incentives on land. So subsidy to set up effluent treatment plant, technology transfer subsidy, patent costs. These are all things are there. Then policy incentives, private for defense and aerospace park. So then support common facility centers. So some of the ideas which I have created, infrastructure facility, industrial security. So finally, my recommendations are that establishment of Odisha Defence Industrial Corridor Authority will be a nodal agency in similar lines of UP Expressway Industrial Development Authority in the government of UP and the Tamil Nadu Industrial Development Authority. Existing land resources, raw material manufacturing industries, DPA issues, defense testing ranges, communication network by air, land, and sea to be integrated towards making of the Odisha Defence Corridor. Existing defence establishments at Gopalpur, Chilka, Baleshwar can assist in the development of this corridor. Industry stakeholders should be approached, and the advantage will be that we become self-reliant by promoting Atmanirbhar Bharat, employment to large extent to the people of Odisha, prevent exodus of valuable skill sets from Odisha. Available of raw material will be used for manufacturing in the state locally. It will reduce our reliance on imports and promote exports towards economy rise, overall infrastructure development and increase of revenue in the state. So thank you for um, listening to me. Now we can discuss if there are questions, or if you have got some new ideas, thoughts, that we can always discuss. And let us take some questions and some of your thoughts, your observations, so that benefits everybody.
So, good evening, Sareen here, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, whatever you have spoken about defense corridor for manufacturing is fine, but I think there is a requirement of research towards defense production, and Odisha has a good amount of academic institutions too. So this also can be envisaged to have a research in defense, as we have seen China also doing a lot of research in especially in the battery side, which now in unmanned aircraft or robotics, it's an essential need. And other than that, the latest technologies to be implemented also requires a lot of research. So can that be also included into this program, sir?
Yes, I think it's a good idea. But I was thinking that why not jointly at Bhubaneswar, sponsored by the various technological institutions and government of Odisha, we developed a defense uh, innovation and incubation center for defense research. Because defense research, it requires convergence of many technologies. So it is not limited to only electronics or mechanical or electrical or things like that. So it should be a joint approach by the industry, government, and the academic institutions. I think it's an excellent idea. And the every university, state universities which is there in Odisha, they should also be encouraged to have research and development, incubation and development centers within their colleges, where we should be a again collection or uh, which should be run by through jointness of different departments, not limited to only one department.
Sir, I was insisting on having a focus on defense because research तो हो रहा है सर in all most of the academic institutions, but there is a lack of defense touch, and also converting that defense research means translating it to the ground realities.
Yes, yes, I agree. So whatever you do research, it could be incubated. Then you go for a startups, just like the IITs are also doing. They have an incubation center. Then they go for the prototypes. Then they go for marketing. Like that. I think a similar line it can be thought of. It's a good
Right,
suggestion.
right.
Sir, further to
R&D
this, I
activity.
have further to this, sir, I'm Karan Nandata. Further to this, I was thinking, why are we not opening the engineering colleges students internship program in our PXC R&D or oblique our or defense organization basis, where we are making something, or we can ask them to do their internship just as an exposure, so it will motivate people to think on those lines.
Yeah, Nandita, you're very right. Very recently also, I saw one advertisement. Some of the defense institutions, they are taking interns and they are paying around 30,000 rupees a month or something like that. And uh, one or two organizations they have come out. Even the army chief also said that we'll take interns. So this benefit should be availed by the students of Odisha because we have got the most intelligent students, but they may not be aware about all those things. So that creating awareness is also very important. Particularly in Odisha, the students are very much ignorant about the armed forces. They don't understand that the armed forces is not only combat on ground because there is a combat support through which comes from the technology from state of the art military hardwares or which a lot of research activity research is to take place. So these things that complexities that the defense is a much um, bigger than what they think. So they have got very small idea that because they are uh, charged by those movies. They'll see some war movie and they think that military is only fighting, but they don't know that behind the fighting is technology and the military equipment.
I was thinking, sir, the MBA colleges and the engineering colleges we should approach, especially RECs and the Xavier's, which is in heart of the city, and offer them the college to give internship students to us on certain particular fields. And if the colleges offer internship, they have a placement cell. Every college has. And if internship students are also sponsored by them to various places, so if we can have somebody putting awareness like that, the colleges facilitate that. The
Yes,
first
yes,
step should be having our own officers doing some study leave in all the colleges of
yes, yes,
Odisha, and that is the only opening that will facilitate the colleges to open to our defense forces needs,
yes,
sir.
yes. It is a good suggestion. And officers, particularly who are on study leave to these top technical institutions, they they can be utilized by these colleges because they will interact with the professor and the students and say how what are the opportunities available, what type of research are really important. And secondly, to create awareness from OCF side also, we can organize seminar and conferences at such top institutions physically, so that people really understand. The first thing is that once they understand that there is a requirement and it is good for them, good for their students, good for everybody. So our problems gets a boost, and definitely it will help because most of the research activities which is taking place is most of the in the IITs which is located in the cities like Delhi, Kanpur, or Mumbai. Even the other top institutions like the NIT, Rourkela, or IIT Bhubaneswar in Odisha, they don't get such type of opportunity to interact with the defense people, and so their projects are not related to the defense. Their projects are related to something else. I think this should be done. And from OCF side, we'll also take some initiative to how to meet the people in different technological institutions, how to motivate the teachers. In fact, I'm doing my this particular aspect I have taken to Bhubaneswar because in Bhubaneswar also I am associated with two universities. One is the Trident. Very recently, I'm associated with them, and I have already done the similar kind of a thing. I have given those army challenges to them. They said you this you this
That's a great initiative, sir.
Sir, your point is very well noted,
challenges
sir.
you
From OCF side, we'll also try to spread the awareness and whatever you told, sir, that is a very good point, sir.
do some
Another thing, sir, I am Orun Banerjee again. There is a weak in Odisha. We found a startup on defense startup is very less actually number. So what is the
I
reason,
have
sir? Basically for the investment purpose or for the technical reason. What is the reason that the defense startup are not coming up? Sir, sir, are you getting, sir?
group of professors from the different branches. So they have been given the task, the chairman and the dean. Uh, this can you hear me now? So we recommend something in this particular direction. Once the government of a defense corridor in Odisha, I think for that they don't have to do much. Already clusters they have to identify some land and some resource, some areas where the defense clusters can come up, and that should be exclusively for defense. Can you all hear? So we'll have some offline meeting sometime to discuss and take it forward. And people like General Chandi Mohanty is also very keen to take it forward. And then we have got very enthusiastic people like Brigadier Sareen, Colonel Nandita. Then we have got there at Bhubaneswar Brigadier Patnaik, Brigadier Naik, then Air Chief Marshal Patnaik, Vice Admiral Patnaik. There are many senior defense officers who are serving and retired. They are keen to help Odisha in establishing defense corridor, including DRDO senior scientists like Dr. V.K. Das, Dr. Narayan Panigrai, Dr. Sujata Das, and there are many who have been shown interest to help Odisha in this aspect. So we'll constitute a committee, and but to fine tune the whole thing. But the first and the foremost requirement is to convince the government of Odisha to agree in principle to have defense corridor in Odisha, because they have to take the approval of the government of India, I believe, because Ministry of Defense and all, whatsoever is required in the administrative process, they have to do it. And since we have got a new government in Odisha, they are also keen that something new should happen in Odisha. So we will take advantage of that. So if there is nothing from your all side, I will thank all of you for sparing your valuable time and listening to me and participating in this discussion. And that shows that people are genuinely interested for the development of Odisha and issues related to Odisha entrepreneurs, Odisha students, Odisha youth. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.